What did you say to him? Slap. The fork hit the floor. My cheek stung. My husband just sat there, silent. What none of them knew was, there was a camera. My name is Talia Monroe, and I'm 34 years old. I work as a digital strategist for nonprofits. It's not flashy, but it's meaningful. I'm married into a wealthy, old-school family. Think legacy dinners, crystal glassware, everyone in their place. From day one, I wasn't what they wanted. I didn't grow up in their world. I didn't care about designer handbags or legacy connections. My husband's father never liked me. He thought I was beneath their name. He let me know that, often. He'd make comments at dinner about where I came from. He'd look me up and down when I walked in wearing something that wasn't a brand he recognized. He'd correct my grammar in front of guests, even when I hadn't made a mistake. His wife would smile politely and say nothing, which honestly hurt even more. My husband would squeeze my hand under the table sometimes, like that was supposed to be enough. It never was. The whole family operated on a system of silence and submission. You didn't challenge the patriarch. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't exist too loudly. But here's the thing. I wasn't rich or glamorous, but I had something they didn't expect. And that changed everything. If your family made you feel like you weren't enough, subscribe to this community. Drop your story below, because you're not alone. Maybe you didn't walk in with status, but you've got something they'll never understand. Click hype to back every underdog out there. Let's go. The family invited me to a private dinner. It was supposed to be a formal celebration for my husband's promotion in the family company. A big deal to them. Generations of legacy wrapped up in a single title change. I wasn't supposed to speak much. Just smile and support. Classic. Sit pretty. Hold your wine glass correctly. Laugh at the right moments. And never, ever take up space. I followed the rules for most of the evening. I really did. The chandelier above the dining table cast this warm, amber glow over everything, and the room smelled like roasted lamb and fresh rosemary. Silver clinked against porcelain. Everyone was performing their version of perfection. But during the meal, I mentioned a small nonprofit campaign I had recently launched. It was doing well. Really? Well, actually, we'd raised enough in 2 weeks to fund 3 community kitchens. I was proud of it. I said it casually, not boasting, just sharing. My father-in-law set down his glass slowly. He scoffed. My son's carrying the family name worldwide, and you're bragging about feeding street kids? The table went quiet. I could hear the grandfather clock in the hallway ticking. I said quietly, it matters. And he supported it too. That's when he stood up, furious. His chair scraped against the marble floor with a sound that cut through the silence like a blade. Don't you dare put words in my son's mouth. And then he slapped me across the face, in front of everyone. The sting was instant, sharp, the kind that spreads from your cheek down into your chest. Everyone froze. My husband looked away. His sister gasped, but said nothing. His mother pressed her napkin to her lips and stared at her plate. There was no apology, not a whisper of one. I was told I had disrespected the family, that I needed to learn my place. I stood up slowly. My legs were shaking, but I refused to let them see that. I walked out holding my face, but not before I looked up and noticed something small, almost invisible, mounted in the corner of the dining room wall. A small black CCTV lens, and it was pointing right at the table. The first betrayal came that same night. My husband followed me to the bedroom, but not to comfort me. He asked me to apologize to his father for making him upset. I stared at him. He actually said those words. He's old school, Talia. He didn't mean it. I told him no. I told him his father had hit me in front of his entire family, and not a single person had said a word. He called me dramatic. He said I was making things worse by refusing to let it go. That was the night I realized I was truly alone in that house. The second betrayal came a week later. My mother-in-law excluded me from the next family event, a garden brunch with extended relatives and family friends. I found out about it through social media. She'd posted a collection of photos with everyone smiling, dressed in white linen, holding champagne flutes in some sunlit courtyard. The caption read, "When the real family comes together." She tagged every person in the frame. I wasn't in a single one. The message was deliberate, surgical. The third betrayal was quieter but far more damaging. My work laptop mysteriously went missing during a family visit. I'd left it in the study while we had tea, and when I came back, it was gone. The campaign I was leading nearly collapsed. Weeks of outreach, donor contacts, content, calendars, all of it stored on that device. I suspected someone had tampered with it, maybe taken it to send a message, maybe destroyed it outright. But when I brought it up, no one cared. My husband shrugged. His mother said, I must have been careless. His father didn't even look up from his newspaper. They pushed me out slowly, socially, emotionally, even physically. I stopped being invited to anything. My opinions were dismissed before I could finish a sentence. I became invisible in a house full of people who saw everything. But I didn't back down. I doubled down on work. I rebuilt what I'd lost on that laptop from memory and backup files. I stayed up late, made new connections, rewrote proposals. My nonprofit campaign tripled in traction thanks to a viral post about community-driven food access. People started noticing me outside their world. Organizations reached out. Media outlets asked for interviews. What the family couldn't see, because they were too busy mocking, was that I was becoming unstoppable, step by painful step. What they didn't know was that I had requested copies of the security footage from that dinner. The house had cameras in nearly every common room. It was one of those things the family bragged about, state-of-the-art security for their state-of-the-art lives. The housekeeper was kind. Her name was Rosa, and she had watched me take that slap without flinching. She had watched the family pretend it never happened. She handed over the USB drive quietly one afternoon when no one else was home. She didn't say much, just pressed it into my palm and whispered, "You deserve better than this." The family forgot that their obsession with appearances extended to 24/7 surveillance. Every room, every angle, every moment recorded and stored. I didn't just sit on the footage. I watched it 3 times that first night. Each time, the slap felt louder. Each time, my husband's turned head felt heavier. And then I reached out to someone who'd helped my nonprofit grow, a digital journalist named Priya who covered personal injustice stories. She had reach, a loyal audience, and a reputation for fairness. And I had proof. "You sure you want this public?" She asked me over a phone call late one evening. I paused. I thought about Rosa. I thought about every woman at that table who had stayed silent. Then I said, "Yeah, it's time." My biggest ally through all of this was Kendra, my old college roommate and now a rising documentary filmmaker. She'd seen it all from the beginning. She'd been at my wedding and had even warned me about my in-laws years ago. "Something about the way his father watches you," she'd said back then. "Like he's waiting for you to mess up." She was right. Kendra offered to help package my story carefully, not as revenge, but as accountability. There's a difference, and she understood that better than anyone. She interviewed me quietly in her small studio apartment. The walls were lined with film posters and shelves full of hard drives. She asked for my consent on every frame, every quote, every detail. Nothing was used without my approval. In the meantime, the family kept boasting at social functions, assuming I was too meek to do anything. They attended charity galas and wine tastings and country club events, all while pretending I didn't exist. My husband had fully caved to them. He even removed photos of us from his social media. Every vacation, every holiday, every shared smile, gone, erased, like I was a chapter he wanted to forget. And then came the final, humiliating moment. The family organized a charity event, a fundraiser for underserved communities. The irony was thick enough to choke on. It was a cause I had started, my framework, my outreach strategy, my donor list. And they uninvited me last minute. His mother called me the day before and said, "We think it's best if you sit this one out, dear." That was the last straw. I called Kendra. I called Priya. We hit upload. I released a 6-minute edited clip of that dinner. Every second was real, unfiltered. You could hear the clink of the fork hitting the floor. You could see the exact moment his hand connected with my face. You could see my husband turn his head away like a coward. You could see every family member freeze, choose silence, and return to their plates. Kendra added simple white text over the footage. "This is how my in-laws treat the women they can't control." We posted it across multiple platforms simultaneously. A blog post went live with Priya's detailed written account. The video was uploaded to every major social channel. Within hours, it went viral. Comments exploded, thousands of them. Viewers were horrified. Activists reposted it. Women's advocacy groups shared it with their networks. My name was protected. Kendra and Priya made sure of that, but their faces weren't blurred, not even a bit. Every expression, every flinch, every turned head was visible for the world to see. Journalists contacted me within the first day. News outlets picked it up by the second. Women from around the world started sharing similar stories of familial control, of being silenced at dinner tables, of being told to apologize for their own pain. The family's public image started crumbling. Their charity foundation was scrutinized. People began asking where the money actually went. Their events were protested. Donors withdrew. Corporate partners distanced themselves. My husband called me in a panic 3 days after the upload. His voice was cracking. "You've ruined my family," he shouted. I held the phone steady and replied calmly, "No, they did that the second they thought they could silence me." Kendra helped arrange a follow-up interview with a major platform, and we went global from there. The story was translated into 4 languages. It was featured in online publications across 3 continents. But the best part wasn't the numbers or the coverage. It was the messages, hundreds of them, from families like mine, quiet ones, underestimated ones, people who had been told they were too small to fight back. They started speaking up too. Meek became mighty in one simple upload. I divorced my husband within months and walked away with peace. Not money, not property, but freedom. Their empire is still standing, but it's bruised and watched. Every move they make now is under a lens they can't control. The slap didn't break me. It revealed me. It showed me who I really was underneath all the silence and the smiling and the swallowing of words. And hundreds of thousands of people saw the truth. I moved on to expand my nonprofit beyond anything I had ever imagined. We now operate in 12 cities. We've helped fund over 40 community programs. And now, when I speak at events, I open like this. There are rooms that want to silence you, but all you need is one camera and one boundary. If you've ever been humiliated by someone in power and no one believed you, I see you. Subscribe and share your story in the comments. Whether it happened in your family, your work, or your marriage, your voice matters. We're building a space for people who stand back up. Click hype to help this reach someone who needs strength right now. Your story has power. If you felt a connection to mine, please subscribe and share your journey in the comments. Every hype you give this video helps empower someone else. Thank you for being here and for listening.